Hello. Another flower video. I got a new one that has not been evaporated. Very bouncy. Very, very wonderful. Wonderful. Awesome. So today I want to review the perfume Floriental by Comme de Garcons, and that is a company run and founded by an Oriental woman. Her name is Ray, but there is no way in the world that I can remember the last name. So I'm sorry about that. That name is so Oriental and complex. It's Floriental, that name. That's why I cannot remember that name. But that's okay. I think she's Japanese. So, and her perfumes are outstanding. They are prize winners. They are so incredible. An incredible woman. I have it on my arm here. I wish you could smell it. Maybe you can feel the vibes of it. I guess it vibes vibrantly. That's what it does. So I had that on last night too, and it stays on all night long too. Oh, it's amazing. Very strong, very powerful. Floriental for women, but I think all of her perfume creations are very much for any gender. It's not that much gender specific, I think. The name also, Comme des Garcons, which is French and it means like boys. So, and I think that is her personal signature. She's kind of like a tomboy and very independent woman and very, very androgynous and very creative and very amazing and very intellectual. And I love this scent. I love it. So there's the first note that comes at you is frankincense. That's actually not a top note. So there are some floral scents in it. I'm sensing a little bit lemon in it. And that is the top note. So, but that's not what is so noticeable on the first smell. So the first smell, definitely frankincense, olibanum, and different rare frankincense trees from the Middle East. There's also, I think, rose in it. Yeah, there's a little bit patchouli in it. It's a little bit jasmine, sambac in it, I would say. And I also sense tulip in it. So, and I also smelled earlier, I noticed it. I smelled oud, which is from a very precious tree, and it is the bark that has been fermented, and that is the outcome of it. It's a very expensive scent. The natural thing is, the natural resin is very, very, very precious and expensive. So I assume that this here is an imitation, of course, but a very good one, a very, 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 very high quality imitation molecules. A little bit vanilla, a little bit carnation, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like. The combination of it and the percentage of each individual note really is key to the end outcome of it. So earlier, and because I'm such a fan of oud, when I first smelled oud, I got just a sample from Eden Botanicals a long time ago, and I smelled on it, and that was definitely by far the best thing I've ever smelled in my entire life. And although that's usually not so much used in the female fragrances, because it is very earthy and very masculine, or as what they would label masculine, but it just smells so incredibly good. It's just so amazing. And yeah, I wear that too. I mean, I'm not afraid to wear masculine scents. I wear needle tree oil on me, and that doesn't that's not girly or anything, but I like the way it smells, so I love it. And there are a lot of needle trees in this. Earlier um, I smelled a natural tree oil from Eden Botanicals. I put that on my ear. I only put the natural ones on my ear and into my earlobe, because they are so healing. And I sometimes put the natural oils into the papa dog's ear, like underneath the leather hippie ear, like all the way in there near the opening. So, and he likes that a lot, and it's very healing, very, very calming. He sleeps very well after I put that on any kind of essential natural oil, but I mean not in full concentration, but diluted so it's good for the skin. He likes it. He licks his mouth, and that means that he likes it. He thinks it's delicious. It triggers the saliva glands, and that's why all the perfume review people are always swallowing their saliva, because it's so mouth-watering, all of that stuff. And it's good, it's good for you to have that. It's very healing to smell something that you enjoy. That's very good for your immune system, that alone. But I have this feeling it also triggers a total balance in the immune system, and psychologically, obviously, too. So I got stained on my jackets got, some of them, my lighter jackets have stains from the very heavy clay creams that I put on me. So sorry about that. So, but I like this jacket a lot. It's very nice and warm and comfortable. It has a whole, I like this fake fur. I love that. Love fake fur. So this is all stained from my clay oils. So when I first smelled the natural oud from Eden Botanicals, I was thinking about my dad. It reminded me of my dad, and it put me into a different world, like into a world that I'm beginning to remember, but I can't really say where. It's not out of this existence. It feels like a world from another existence where I also were hanging out with my dad. So obviously my dad and I, we have, as souls, we have known each other from the past. It's very interesting. Not everyone is on board, but yeah, I think this is very interesting. So then earlier today I was smelling my arm down in the living room, and I was dreaming. Oh, the citrus, the lemon definitely, it definitely makes this into something absolutely fantastic. It's interesting how lemon by itself can be, it's also lovely, you know, but it is, it doesn't, it's not something, it's not a finished perfume, of course. I mean, it's very nice, but you know what lemon smells like, you know, it is sour smelling and fruity, sour, fruity, and citrusy, of course, and a bit tropical, you know. So, but that put into a combination like this, together with olibanum, patchouli, and jasmine, then the citrus takes really takes off. It takes on another dimension of power. I love patchouli very much, so I'm always happy to smell patchouli. Some people don't like it, they identify hippies with it, but it has made a huge comeback in fashion, so some people are not crazy about it. They think that smells like the hippie moms. Or I always loved patchouli since I'm 13 years old. No, actually, since I'm 11 years old. You know, we used to buy patchouli in small bottles from street vendors, and I don't know where they got that from, whether that was real or whether that was synthetic, or it was completely overpriced. I don't know, but we loved it, and it was affordable for us, only like $1 or something for a real itty bitty amount, but we loved it, and it always lasted a long time, was very strong. We loved it. We had all kinds of amazing scents. Well, they also had opium, you know, which smelled quite similar to the Yves Saint Laurent opium. It was sort of like inspired by it, I guess. So already in the 70s, you know, this has been going on for a long time with oil imitations, and they just got better and better and better at it. because of better technology, and they were able to imitate the molecules much better than ever before in the past. So now they smell almost completely identical, but almost like you can't say fully, because it can become so good that it will be very difficult to say whether this is real or not. But that's why we'll always say almost. It's only an approximation. It will become better, but it will still be an approximation. It will never reach 100% identity, because the natural scent is contains so many things, so many amazing things that can never be fully imitated. They can only try to figure this out. And natural as always, it always has the wholesomeness, it has the whole power, wholesome, whole natural nature power in it that will never be able to be imitated in a laboratory. And that's okay. So that's why I put the natural stuff on my neck and on my ears, into Papa Dog's ears. I use that to make my cosmetic with, my creams, my lotions, also some makeup products. I only put the natural stuff in it. But for the sensational experience, as I go about my day, I like to put the designer oils or my own designs, my own compositions. Like to put that on here, around here, and enjoy that very much. Or sometimes like on the lower part of my neck, and it smells really, really good. Papa Dog, come to me. Come, my love. He's coming upstairs. He is coming slowly, slowly up the stairs, because it is difficult for very short legs to come up the stairs. But he is very sturdy on his legs, like a hippopotamus. A sturdy hippopotamus, yes. There you are, Papa Dog. There you are, yes. Yes, you can jump on the couch now. Yes, you can. Yes. Yes, you can get on the couch. Yes, get on the couch. There you go, Papa Dog. There you go. Very excellent. All right. Excellent, excellent. So when I smelled this earlier, I smelled the oud in it. And the needle trees, and cedar and spruce I smell in it, and grand fir I smell in it, which is the Christmas tree. Smell all of those needle trees in it. And again, I was put into a different world. I thought about my dad again, and then I realized my dad actually has, or had, I don't know if he still has it, but he always had this very, very earthy, tree scented aftershave. And I think it was from Aramis, but I am not sure now. It could have been from a different company. But he always used Aramis. And then I realized just now I realized that it was either Veleda or Dr. Hauschka they had this, they had an aftershave, and that smelled similar to this as well. And I gave that to my dad as a present because that also had these compositions in it. Smelled similar to his, but the Dr. Hauschka is all natural, so I wanted my dad to have one that's all natural also. Yeah, that smells similar to this as well. Definitely, my dad definitely had these kind of components in his aftershave. And I always thought that is so incredibly lovely. This is so lovely on a man in particular. That's a real character scent. Even though this is specifically designed for women, but men can wear it too, of course. Confident men, that is. Where the ego doesn't panic and think that putting that perfume on when it says for women, that could somehow cause them to become more feminine. So some men are terrified of that, actually. It goes so far that they couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton for that reason. This is a mental illness, you know, and that's why stepping back from the big picture, I can't be that judgmental because, you know, it's a mental illness. They're kind of victims of this. But it does make one quite frustrated, you know, particularly when we're activists and we see that it's those petty ego kind of self-image things that stand in the way of making the world better, protecting the forests, and so on. So if you want to protect the forests, and then you deserve to smell Comme des Garcons and all the forests that are put into the scent. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. Wonderful. It has a golden smell, smells like bells of gold. Christmas ornaments, that's what it smells like. Smells like real old-fashioned Christmas ornaments. My dad used to have these real old-fashioned Christmas ornaments, like the love stamps that they used to have with the angels, but in metal, stanced out of metal, like angels that are like 200 years old, crafted sculptures, sort of. You know. That's what that smells like. This is a Christmas scent, but it can also be worn in Sumatra, of course, and in the Fiji Islands as well. So it's not forbidden to wear it there. So, but yeah, it's a very Christmas type of scent. It fits right into that theme. Absolutely fantastic. Also, I think has honeysuckle in it as well. Could have some gourmands in it. It could have a little bit chocolate in it, but if there is some in it, it's very, very faint. Very faint. It puts the emphasis on floral and oriental. That's why it's called Floriental. So, but the main thing is definitely the far Middle East, the deserts, the olibanum, the frankincense. That is has the most percentage, I would say. So I would say citrus is the only top note that it has. So then it has the jasmine, it has the florals in the middle notes. And it has the tree resins, the olibanum, the frankincense, which is a tree resin, and I think the other needle trees also are, those are the base notes. Maybe they're middle notes, I don't know. But the frankincense, I believe, is a base note because that's very strong, very powerful, very heavy. It lasts a long time. It stays on all the way when all the other ones have evaporated away. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This one, I think, this one is from Oil Perfumery. They're located in Canada. They're very good too. I got a whole lot from them as well. They're a little bit more expensive. They're very good. They have very good perfumers. They have some rare things that maybe the other ones don't have. Like the Comme de Garcon. The other ones didn't have that. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal scent. I highly recommend it to people. Yes, Papa Dog, what is it? What is it? Makes you high, those scents. Very relaxing, very, very, very healing and calming and antidepressant and anti-panic and anti-agitation. So this is real great. It's wonderful. It saves our minds, definitely. Very healing. Papa Dog, what is it, God? So creamy. Very, very nice. Very lovely. So what I want to say to the world is that you already are precious. You don't need to prove that to anyone by buying expensive things, expensive perfumes or accessories or clothes. You don't need to prove that to anyone. I got this at Walmart. It's older, that's why it's also stained. But I love it. That doesn't, if you buy something at Walmart, that doesn't mean that you are trailer trash. That's why, I don't ever want to say a word like this, trailer trash. I think I have probably said it, and I apologize for that. At some point in history, I probably said it, but I'm never gonna say that again. We have to watch what we say. Nobody is trash. Nobody. But the corporate agenda, they play with that. They use that to manipulate people. They want to infect people with that idea that if they don't buy the actual Comme des Garcons, which costs like $100 for, I don't know, 30 milliliters, 2 or 3 ounces, 2 ounces or something. Spend $100. If they don't buy that, then they're going to be considered trailer trash, or they would have to consider themselves trailer trash or something, or low class, or worker class, or whatever. And that we want to dissolve. Okay? Let's dissolve that today, together. Let's dissolve it. You are already precious. If you're a worker, if you can't afford, if you don't have that much money to make such jumps with, to buy yourself $100 perfume, if you can get that same one for $6, which will last you a long time. The oil is very intense. It goes a long way. It lasts you for half a year. That even just a third of an ounce will last you half a year. Can you imagine how much 1 ounce will last? 1 ounce for, let's say, $10 or $12. Yeah? Put that into perspective. You can enjoy that. It will make you high. It will make you happy. Other people will also like it that are around you. You might even get compliments. This is what you want. That's what many of you want. Yes, but don't make that into a self-image where you have to have the original, or you feel like you're just a copy. You are not a copy. My perfume oils are copies of some designer perfume oils. That doesn't make me a copy. That doesn't make me cheap or copy or trailer trash or whatever, or low class or whatever. Huh? No, of course not. It doesn't make you any of that. You are precious. Your skin is precious. Even your brain cells, as I always say, yeah. Your brain cells, even if the ego has maneuvered some real bad neuronal connections that are happening there, and associations and fears and short circuit reactions and act outs and so on. It's still not the fault of the individual brain cells, the neurons. They're just being guided. They're being guided by fear, which is the ego. The ego that says, I better get my designer outfit so that I can be liked, so that I can have a high self-esteem? Why does it take something like this to have high self-esteem? If that's what it takes, then you gotta really do some serious inventory. That should be the red flag to your overconsciousness, to your prefrontal cortex. That should, to your rationality. So if you sit down in meditation, you'll bring out the super consciousness, the over consciousness, the rationality, bring that out. And you'll start seeing things for what they are. You start to recognize that these act outs, acting out to buy expensive things with your hard-earned money that you worked so hard for, being exploited sort of, almost, particularly in third world countries. And also China, these people are being exploited. But they don't even complain. They're such hard-working people. But then a lot of those, they go out there and buy designer stuff because then they think that makes them into someone. Being someone. You're already someone. Okay? You are you. Whether your name is Suzuki or Zuki or Yasuko or Yazuki or what are those names? Or Ray or Raymond or Xin Yang, Shong Yang, Jin Ying, Yan Yang, Jen Shen. I knew someone with that name. He's from somewhere near China. Sold us a motorhome. So we went there to where he was living in near LA, the suburb of LA. I think East and somewhere in East LA. And that entire area was this particular Asian they were all exactly the same. Every house was the same. It was like you're in a different country. It was very interesting. The gardens were all groomed. I wonder if they're using pesticides. That's not good. But they're all Buddhists. The shoes were outside of the door. So whoever you are, whoever whatever your identity is, or wherever you're from, and whoever you identify yourself with, you shouldn't identify yourself with anything. But it doesn't matter where you're from and what your story is. It doesn't matter. You are already a whole, complex individual, precious, a flower child of the infinite cosmos. Okay, you're part of the infinite cosmos. You are complex, an infinitely complex individual that deserves to be loved and petted and hugged and understood, deserves friends. And there's a lot of natural wisdom in you and creativity, but most people block that off. Most people only use a tiny fraction of their brain power, brain capacity. It's very sad. You are precious. Your brain cells are too. You don't need to prove to other people or to yourself that you are precious. You already are. You are a unique being. Even if you have an identical twin, you are still slightly different. Still are. Because there are no snowflakes identical. Every snowflake is slightly different. And that's the law of the infinite cosmos. Even if we have an identical twin or make a clone of ourselves, it'll be very, 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 very similar. It might be 99.9999999% similar, which is declared as identical. But it's still not 100% identical. Just like you can't recreate that tree wasn't there synthetically. You can become very good at imitating it. Very, very good. Maybe more than 99.9% and 99.999% even. But it's still not 100%. And that never will be. It never will be, because every tree is infinitely unique, and every living organism, the tree is a living organism. Every tree, every human, every animal, every living organism is infinitely unique. And that's good. You know, and even, let's say, just hypothetically, if I had a clone, that even if the clone was 100, which is not possible in nature and in reality or in truth, like it is not possible. There will always be a little slight variation of some sort, may not be noticeable. But let's say, just for hypothetical purposes and philosophical discussions, if I had a 100% identical clone sitting next to me with all those tics and quirks and clownishness and the fat and all the wrinkles and all of that, right? If she sat next to me, I wouldn't feel so alone anymore. But if that was possible, just hypothetically, just theoretically, then why would I then feel like I'm just a copy, or that is a copy? Why would she feel like a copy? Why would that suddenly diminish her value? It doesn't, okay? And that's the philosophy of love and ethics. Even if we were 100% identical, it doesn't make us suddenly less valuable just because there are more of us there. Or if we were 10, or let's say if we were 1,000, that wouldn't make us suddenly less precious. People always go by like whatever is rare, particularly rare, that is then sort of put onto a pedestal and chased after like a trophy. The trophy wife, you know, the woman that is very rare, the woman that got all of her eating habits together, that goes to the gym, and so because that's so rare, there aren't very many that have that much willpower, right? So then they become trophy women, trophy wives. To me, personally, that makes them kind of masculine, to have that kind of willpower over their eating habits. Find that a little bit masculine, and I don't find that very maternal. I personally see it that way. I mean, someone who has absolutely no control over their eating habits. There's definitely an imbalance going on. When someone becomes obese, morbidly obese, then there's something psychologically going on that is very out of alignment. Okay, there's no willpower then at all. There's almost like self-hate. Those kind of things play into that. But someone who is austere, almost like a fakir, like an ascetist, and monkishly goes to the gym and eats very little and avoids the pleasurable things, then to me